So the leaks for Boruto 2 Blue Vortex chapter 13 have just started coming out, and it's already looking crazy. This chapter reveals the truth behind so many different concepts that we have been waiting for. Let's just jump into the spoilers, as the cover for this chapter is this as we see right here. We see a Boruto who has this dynamic pose, and the color theme that they use for this chapter is purple. Obviously we know that this isn't actually how Boruto's fit looks like, but because of the cover it is going to be purple, and that makes perfect sense. We don't get the title revealed because it is still in Japanese and the translations have been taking a little bit of time, but let's just continue with the rest of the chapter. As we have a Jiro who is still looking at Boruto, saying how he missed his vitals, the same thing where we left off last time. And then we have a Bug who uses the claw marks on Jiro's body to tell Jiro that they have to go back, and he takes Hidari's soul thorn. At first when I saw this, I'm like, hold on, is Bug rebelling? But no, they are not rebelling at all. They are still a group with Jiro, who still seems to be the leader of this group, but Bug finally made an appearance. We didn't know where he was this entire time, but Jiro says something that is pretty iconic already. From what I'm currently seeing, this is a crazy bar from Jiro. He says, "Otsutsuki Boruto, you truly are a very lucky man. It is as if the heavens are telling you to live. Indeed, it is called divine revelation." Bro, what is Jiro talking about? Jiro always has to say it. It's so cool, nonchalant, or away. I love it from Jiro, to be personally honest. So I'm so thankful that it appears like they're going to be heading back, which means that this arc is going to be a long one. And a lot of the stuff that I've been saying over the past few videos that I've been putting out, it seems like a lot of it is actually being confirmed, as we see in this chapter. After that, we have a Boruto who seems to be opening his eye, almost like when Moshiki was about to take control. I was about to go crazy, but then we go into a flashback. We go into a flashback of Boruto who was running away from his ninja pursuers, and this is something that I've always wanted to see take place. I've always wanted there to be a moment where we see Boruto running from the people who are looking at him to make it seem like he's actually a bandit, and I love the fact that we have there. I love the background in this case, and we have a Boruto who seems to be running out of stamina with people who are looking at him. Unfortunately, the text still hasn't been translated, so I can't reveal too much about their conversation. And then we have a toad that Boruto seems to recognize. Boruto is talking to the code, and the person behind it is in fact Kashin Koji, as we come to later find out, as Boruto, who maybe attempts to grab at the code, is reverse summoned to Kashin Koji's lair, the same lair that we saw in the Boruto sneak peek, which indicates that Kashin Koji was the one who made it. Just like I said in that video, Kashin Koji was the reason behind their encounter, and they are in the land of Wind in one of Orochimaru's old hideouts. We have them have a very intriguing conversation, and not all of the translations have come out, but with some of the translations that have already been circulating around the community, what Kashin Koji is about to reveal to us is absolutely crazy, and will explain how he knows so much about the current events that have been taking place. As I don't have the translations to all of the text, but their first conversation seems to be about what exactly Kashin Koji is, who exactly he is, and all that sort of information. Kashin Koji takes out his mask and he lets Boruto see him as he is. I don't have a translation that has been made available to me that talks about Boruto knowing that he is actually a clone of Jiraiya. There's nothing of the sort, but the sort of information we do pick up from this is absolutely groundbreaking, as it reveals that just like Boruto, Kashin Koji can see the future, and it is almost like he can see the future in an even more detailed fashion than Boruto himself. As Kashin Koji doesn't see just this future, he has the ability to see alternate futures and alternate possibilities that could end up happening. How exactly he gained this ability, we have yet to know, but there are a few translations out there that seems to indicate some very important points. So one of the first possibilities that are shown, one of the first futures that we end up seeing, is one where Kashin Koji sees the divine tree in the future. He sees the divine tree planted and sucking the nutrients from that planet, which means either one, Boruto is dead, or the other has to be Kawaki. One of them would have died in that future. We also have one of the reasons being given to us why Boruto got so strong is because Kashin Koji saw the future and was able to train him with the jutsus that he needed for that future to take place. So Kashin Koji literally helped Boruto speed up his training process. In the future, there was a future where Boruto ended up being killed by Kawaki, and Sarada was the one who changed it. So that's quite interesting to be that Sarada's the one who changed the future. So it might actually be the case that Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan ability maybe was what caused Boruto not to die. However, it could simply be that the moment that they are referring to has to do with the moment where Sarada jumped into the fight between Kawaki and Boruto. That could simply be the case. However, maybe Sarada's Mangekyo Sharingan has something to do with the reason why Boruto seemed to escape death. And this is one of the multiple different possibilities that are discussed in this chapter, but I can't break all of them down to completion due to the translations simply not being there. But the origin of this power seemed to be from a certain type of jutsu, as Kashin Koji has a conversation with Boruto where he explains it a bit. He says it's possible the power to see all futures, 10 directions. I don't know exactly what that's supposed to mean, whether it's a jutsu or not, but we continue. Boruto says, possible to see all futures. Kashin Koji continues by saying, this may sound obvious, but our future is not just a straight line. Many stories are eliminated at the branching point, where the story branches out in complex ways. So to speak, it is a battle royale between the fates of all futures. As for what has already been avoided, the Hokage being killed by Ishiki, who then reincarnates into Kawaki. The planet was destroyed by planting a divine tree, a future that was avoided. Thank God. So here we can already see a revelation of the application of these abilities. So it seems like through some miraculous way, the future where Naruto is killed by Ishiki, in that fight where Naruto had Baryon mode, it means that there was a possibility that Naruto would actually end up dying and then Ishiki resurrected in Kawaki's body. This is quite interesting because it doesn't necessarily mean that there's a person or action that must happen to change that future from occurring, but sometimes those possible routes that the story or the future could lead to just don't end up happening. But in this case, the thing that was supposed to happen was Boruto being killed by Kawaki, but Sarada is the one who prevented that from happening. Now the interesting question for us is to see whether it is either because of the Mangekyo Sharingan or did it simply due to fate. Two fates collided, as Kashin Koji kept repeating in this chapter. But this chapter, where the translations do end up dropping, this is going to be a crazy chapter. We continue seeing the future, and it appears like we see a future where we have an extra Senju. We have Jira, we have Hidari, we have Moegi, we have Bug, but now we have another Senju. And this Senju seems to be like he is a Senju that is related to Shinki, or one of those people who have the face masks in the Land of Wind, in the Sand Village. And this is going to be interesting because it tells us that new Shinshu could be created, but it is basically confirmed in this chapter as what we see in the last page. But we continue on to discuss the future that had to deal with divine trees. Kashin Koji is explaining how everybody in Kara, or at least all the Kara inners, which is Kashin Koji, Delta, Boro, Code, including Damien and Ada, have all been amped by Shibai cells, which is extremely important to note because the claw marks come from Shibai. This is where we're going to stop. We're not going to theorize anything too crazy. However, we got the revelation of that at least. The conversation continues, and somewhere along those lines, Boruto has a very cool moment. We have a Boruto with his long hair, and he puts on his headband, indicating his resolve. The translations don't make it too clear, but that's the last thing that we see after we end up going back to the present. And in that present, we have a Sarada who is still injured due to the various activities that they had versus Hidari, and we have a Sumire who is looking after Boruto. Himawari goes to Sarada and is able to heal her now that she has started to show mastery over some of the abilities she inherited from Kurama and due to them being one. They continue to talk, And then we have a Konohamaru who says that he is going to put Boruto in handcuffs. We see the handcuffs being placed on Boruto while Kawaki tries to grab the frog that was attached to Boruto, and he tries to figure out where it's coming from. It seems like Kashin Koji made it disappear, so it goes away from Boruto's hands, but we end up going back to the Senju dimension, where we have Hidari's toned soul being placed on that cube. And then the cube continues to do its magic, and Hidari pops back. He has a slight conversation with Jira that we don't have the translations to, but then we have another sewn toward bulb appear, and it comes from the divine tree that is planted in their dimension and is cut off. It is then placed onto the cube, which means that we have another Senju that is about to spawn. We saw literally how Hidari was able to come back to life. Now we have another Sorto that literally tells us that another Senju is going to come, and that Senju has to be the one that we saw in the future where we had 5 Senjus appear, and this is the future that it seems like we are about to go towards. And yeah, I'm lost for words. I'm just reading what's happening. I can't even completely process everything that happened this chapter. When the translations do come out, when it comes out officially, definitely you will hear more of my thoughts, but this chapter is crazy. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section below, and I'm out, bruh.